Hey, before we get going, you know the drill. Do yourself a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube channel. It's a daily reminder. Make sure you go to the OutKick YouTube channel. We're getting close to 2 million subscribers. We need more and more and more because what we're giving you between, well, Charlie, myself, Ricky, Clay, Hot Mike, Tommy, Riley, you name it, we got it, baby. Tyrus, hey, you don't want to miss it. Sack up and subscribe. All right, you know, certain people make me crazy, and this is the way I go about my life, and I don't know how you guys go about it, but this is the way I go about it. When I lose respect for you, I'm done. When you try to BS me, I'm done. When I catch you lying, I'm done. When I think you're a fraud, I'm done. Why am I talking about this, Dan? Well, I'll tell you, Dan, why I'm talking about this, because Chris Ballard, I used to really like. First couple years in Indy, he's the general manager of the Colts. I used to really like him. I'm like, all right, he would only do interview postseason one-on-one with me. And then I realized, man, this dude is inept. Wait a second, this dude is full of crap. Wait a second, this dude is flat out lying. Wait a second, this dude has been in Indy now going on his 9th year with 0 division championships, 0 home games, 1 playoff win, an under 500 record, yet he remains, when you watch him, the most smug, arrogant dude in all of football. And every year, look, I don't want anybody's job. Go do your job. I don't care. But if you're going to try to BS me, and I am a member of the Colts entertainment media, I'm the only one in that particular genre, then I'm going to fire back at you. If you're going to try to BS me, then I'm going to BS you with some shots that are truth bombs, doc bombs, if you will. Yeah, it just makes me nuts. No, it really, really does. He's so full of crap. We sit there every year and we listen to this BS. All right, here's latest. The Colts GM announced the team plans to bring in competition for Anthony Richardson at the quarterback position. We drafted Anthony Richardson high, knowing it was going to take some time. No. You drafted him 4th. You put him in the starting lineup, and you told us you were going to win now. Then last year you told us he had a great opportunity to sit out when he got injured in his first year, learn, and we've got weapons around him, and we're going to win now. No. Now, all of a sudden, we knew it was going to take some time. No, that's crap. You drafted him knowing he couldn't stay on the field. You drafted him knowing he was a child. I said he was a child on these airways and local airways and just got ripped up and down. And then, of course, it came out that he was a child, and they had to bench him. Hell, this is a guy that got hurt, listen for it, dancing in a hotel room before a game in college. That's the level of child. They told us this guy is the truth. See, what GMs do, watch for this in your city. When they're getting their ass beat, there is a PR thing. Deflect and give hope. So that's what we're doing here. All right, listen to this bum. And I do call him a bum. I reached out to him. I reached out to his guy, Matt Conti. I said, yo, if your boy wants to come on my show, I'll be at the Combine in the afternoon. It will not be a comfortable conversation for him, as his job performance will be discussed. That's the exact email I sent to their head of PR. I don't care. I mean, people act like these GMs or these coaches or these owners are like God's gift or like actual gods. Everybody had to call Bill Polian, Mr. Polian, Mr. Ursa. Yeah, pull this. It plays Jingle Bells. I got 2 words for you. My ass. These are dudes just like you and me. No response yet from the Colts. None expected. All right, here's my boy. Here's my boy Ballard in his creepy-ass voice discussing now we knew Anthony Richardson was going to have some bumps in the road. Listen to this nonsense.
We want to create real competition. I think it's good for the team. I think it's good for Anthony. I mean, I don't – like when we drafted Anthony high knowing it was going to take some time, all right? And we knew there's going to be some hiccups along the way. And it's you know, I know we all want a finished product right now. I do. You do. Fans do. We all do. But I think as he continues to progress in his young career, us adding competition, I think will help up everybody's game.
So this dumbass is finally figuring out that you got to have competition. Now, you got to remember, this is a guy who let a rookie, Quentin Nelson, yell and MF him on the practice field and wasn't smart enough to understand, no, that's a problem. If a rookie feels comfortable enough to yell at the general manager of the football team, then you got a problem. This is a guy that every dumbass media wonk in the NFL thinks is a great GM. Stacey Dales, I think she's with Fox, told me, well, I don't care. I just like him. That's him. When Ryan Grigson left Indianapolis, they built a whole new section of PR. They gutted it, put a bunch of people in the PR, and this guy is 1,000% PR. So now, all of a sudden, we're going to bring in competition. So who's that going to be? Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold. This guy's never had a single pair of nuts on him to bring in anybody, anytime, anywhere in free agency that mattered. He's been paying Sam Ehlinger $900,000 a year to be the backup. What's he been doing? Why isn't he competition if we're so great at developing, which is what he says? No, the Colts are a mess. They've always been a mess. Richardson wasn't too good. He completed under 60% of his passes in his 4 games he managed to play as a rookie before injuring his shoulder. He regressed to a wholly unacceptable 47.7% of his passes, 8 touchdowns, 12 interceptions last year. That's where he is. Now, all of a sudden, we've decided we're going to bring in competition. This is where Ballard gets really full of shit. We've had good conversations with Anthony. Anthony's accepted it all. He understands there needs to be some growth and there's work. Really? Really? An NFL quarterback that stinks or has stunk understands there needs to be some work. There are some NFL quarterbacks that understand there needs to be work before they get to the NFL. But not here in Colts land. We got told over and over again, and very smugly, how great this guy was, how smart Ballard was. We'd have taken him first, Ballard said. Really? Huh. Over Jaden Daniels, all right. Over Caleb Williams, all right. That's exactly what the man said. He said we'd have taken him first. We'd have taken Anthony Richardson first. Ballard is so full of shit. You can tell it just pisses me off. It does. Some topics on this show, the Knicks ask my guy Aaron, man, Dan gets mad. Yes, this is one. I don't like being bullshitted. I don't. Anthony's accepted it all. He understands there needs to be growth and there's work. Really? No shit, huh? Huh. I'll be damned. That's the one thing I'm proud of him. Really? You're proud of him because why? He understands there needs to be work? I mean, what is he, a moron? What is he, an idiot? What is he? I don't know. He doesn't understand it from Florida. He doesn't understand it from a lack of success. See, Anthony Richardson has always fallen up. High school, barely played. Great talent, falls up to be the quarterback at Florida. Has one good game, an opener 2 or 3 years ago. That's it. Gets hurt. Falls up to the 4th pick in the draft to a franchise that needs a quarterback. Gets to be a starter. Gets hurt. Falls up to be the automatic starter last year with a 90-year-old Joe Flacco behind him. He's always fallen up. So if you don't know that, if you don't know you need to be tough on him when he comes in, then you're not doing your job. Well, finally, the players got tired of him. Remember. Now, remember. This is a guy that tapped out. They tapped out. Remember that. I think it's understanding the enormity of who the quarterback is and what the value of that position is. He was, I don't want to say naive when he came in the league, but there was a little naivete, really. It should have been gone immediately. But see, the Colts have a bull crap locker room. They've had guys kicked off the team, 2 of them, for reasons nobody knows. They've had guys kicked out of the league for a year for gambling. They've had guys with PEDs. I mean, all the while, this guy Ballard tells us we got a locker room full of great guys, horseshoe guys, horse shit guys. That's what we got. Man, look, I understand this is more a regional story. I think maybe not because it is an NFL quarterback. But damn, this guy pisses me off. And you know what? I saw that Jordan Schultz and Ian Rappaport got into a verbal confrontation at a Starbucks in Indy, that's probably what would happen if Ballard came and said anything and sat down with me. He'd probably get so pissed of me telling him exactly how bad he is at his job. And that's not really me. I'm going to get rid of that. I don't really do that. Like, I honestly don't. That's not my thing. It really isn't. But he just lies and lies and lies, and enough already. Enough. All right, let me move it forward. So we got a kicker in the NFL, a punter actually, Chris Kluwe. Remember him? All right, let's show you Chris Kluwe right now so you can remember Chris Kluwe before I tell you what this idiot is doing now. I'm saying idiot, moron. I love it today. I'm on one today. I got a big day today. I'm going from here to the combine, probably get in a verbal confrontation with somebody, and then I got to go to the eye doctor. It's a big day for an old man. Here's Chris Kluwe at a city council meeting in California, rushing the city council and getting arrested.
Unfortunately, it's clear that this council does not listen, so instead I'm going to take my time to say what MAGA has stood for these past 3 weeks. MAGA stands for trying to erase trans people from existence. MAGA stands for resegregation and racism. MAGA stands for censorship and book bans. MAGA stands for firing air traffic controllers while planes are crashing. MAGA stands for firing the people overseeing our nuclear arsenal. MAGA stands for firing military veterans and those serving them at the VA, including canceling research on veteran suicide. MAGA stands for cutting funds to education, including for disabled children. MAGA is profoundly corrupt, unmistakably anti-democracy, and most importantly, MAGA is explicitly a Nazi movement. You may have replaced a swastika with a red hat, but that is what it is. I will now engage in the time-honored American tradition of peaceful civil disobedience.
Get the heck! Get out!
That's great. I'm all for it. Nah, seriously, I'm all for it. No, I think it's great. Let's do it. Good for him. I mean, everybody can say words. Racist, fascist, anti-democracy. Well, how? Anyway, so the clown, former NFL punter Chris Kluwe, has been arrested, charged with charging city council members in California. Make America Great is Nazi Germany, according to this guy. Great. Well, after being arrested and doing a CNN interview, Kluwe is now contemplating a run for office. He should. See, I'm not mad at that. Here's what Kluwe had to say. Listen to the alternative that Kluwe has to running for office. Here it is.
I believe we're on the path that Nazi Germany went down under Hitler, and I say that as a political science and history major, as someone who has studied history, and the parallels are very, very clear. This administration is trying to erase trans people. This administration is trying to put obedience over duty to the country. This administration is trying to thrust our country into turmoil in order to reap power for themselves.
Yeah, okay. Well, how? I mean, like I said, the easiest thing is, okay, nobody's trying to erase anybody. Just don't have boys play against girls. Pretty simple. In terms of Hitler, really? I mean, think about this. All I've seen is let's close our borders, something that every president not named Biden has done for years. Let's show the people where their money is going. Now, I'm no historian, and I don't pretend to be, but I don't think Hitler and Nazi Germany and all the clowns back then were showing the people where their money's going. If that's bad, give me more bad. All right, here you go. Ready? Here's what our guy Clooney has to say. Personally, I don't want to run for public office because I do not want the power. That's not something I desire. I want everybody to be able to live their own lives. There you go. Who can't? I mean, I ask every single week, my wife and Gritty, how's your rights? Your rights hanging in there? The rights okay? Hope so. Anyway, free to live their own lives without other people harming them. Unfortunately, we're in a position where it looks like I might have to run for public office. I think you should. Seriously, I'm not even mad. If he ran for public office, then I would have respect for him. Any slapdick can go out and say, hey, look, we're fascists. If you go make America great again, you're Hitler. I mean, anybody can say that. Run for office. I hate that because here's the alternative to this guy running for office. Listen to this. I want to sit home and play video games. That's what I want to do. I want to sit home and play video games. And if you are a good public servant, you serve the public. That's right. Go do it. I got no problem with that. And it's an exhausting, demanding job. That means you care about everyone. You have to care about their issues, and you have to find ways to help and try and solve those issues. Wow, he was a political science major. That's deep. I mean, I wasn't, but I know that. To be fair, potentially saying starting a political career because of a plaque outside of a California library that spelled Mount Magna royally enraged you is an outrageous story that is incredibly fitting for 2025. Yes, it is, but I will say this. If he puts his money where his mouth is, respect, yo. I don't care who's on what side of the aisle. I don't. My problem is this. My problem is throwing out things like Kluwe is doing just because it sounds good. You're Hitler. You're fascist. You're anti-American. You're trying to get rid of a certain group of people, just like Hitler. It's all bullshit. All right? Tell me how. Run for office. Do something about it. He does that. I'm down to clown. No, I seriously am. Speaking of clowns, Paul George. Indy's got douchebags. And I consider Paul George, who Larry Bird famously picked really out of nowhere. He was second team all whack at Fresno State. Larry Bird saw something not a lot of people did, and Paul George became a good, really good player in his first years in Indiana. I mean, really good. And then he became a guy. Then he wanted to be called PG-13, Playoff P. You know, he started making up nicknames for himself. And then, of course, that becomes unlikable, and he had to leave town. Well, is it Podcast P? No more. Listen to this. He's only being paid $49 million this year. This year. I'm going to say it again, 49, actually over. Paul George went on his podcast, listen to this, to announce that he's taking a break from his podcast. That's right. As the Sixers season continues to go to hell. I plan to take a break from the pod just to focus on getting my body right, getting mentally right, and to help this squad make a push. All right. I mean, you're being paid $49 million. Shouldn't that just be part of the equation? I mean, shouldn't it? I don't know. Before going on to say that the real reason, now, here's the turn, the Paul George turn. The real reason is because he wants to shoot the podcast in person with his co-hosts instead of virtually. I'm telling you, the worst. Nice kid, too. I mean, a great dude out of Palmdale, California, a place where everybody left L.A. to go to. And when he was first with the Pacers, awesome. Like, he sat with me and co-hosted a show with me. And awesome dude. And then he became a guy. Victor Oladipo did the same thing in Indy right after. People don't learn. So here is Paul George talking, just talking. Here he is.
Fellas, it's no secret. This season is up to this point, man. It hasn't been what we envisioned. I know my goal when I first signed with Philadelphia was to bring a championship to these amazing fans here. I still remain positive about that, and that is still the case and where I'm coming from. With that being said, though, I want to let the Podcast P family know that after today's episode with Dwight, I plan to take a break from the pod just to focus on getting my body right, getting mentally right, and, you know, help this squad make a push towards our goal to finish the season out, give ourselves a chance to be in contentions to compete for a championship. I won't front. The desire to get back to shooting in person with my guys as well is the forefront of, you know, this hiatus as well. I look forward to us three being back together and doing this as we once started this. So
just an idiot. I won't front. I won't front. It is really about getting to shoot back. I swear to God, the NBA is so ridiculous, so asinine. Now, let me ask you a question. How does these people that play in the NBA, and don't give me that white-black thing, the people that play in the NBA, guys like this, that are worried about extraneous things, guys that are worried about podcasts, guys that are worried about their appearance, guys that are worried about their commercials, how do they relate to any of us? A black, white, green, or purple? How does this idiot relate to anybody? $50 million. And, I'm going to go try to get my team right. Well, I don't know. It's basically March. You know what I mean? It's like 40 hours to March. And now you're going to get your team right. George is averaging 16-5, shooting 43%, 35 from three. All right. 4 turnovers a game. And his team stinks. And his team's dysfunctional. Now, I don't know what to tell you. But what is it about these guys in the NBA? Like, why would Luka Doncic ever be fat? Now, I saw the other day that Luka Doncic unveiled his new body and he's skinny. Well, why would you ever be fat? You're an NBA player. Are you trying to be a great? Or are you trying to do the hookah and the beer? You can do both. Hookah, beer, go run 10 miles. I don't know. How do these guys in the NBA ever equate, ever to the normal person? I don't know, man. The number one deal maker in the world is Donald Trump. The man knows something about deals. Let's just put it that way. He wrote the book on it, right? The Art of the Deal. All right. I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if he's being tongue-in-cheek. When asked what's going to be more challenging, Russia, Ukraine, or LIV PGA, Donald Trump was quick to answer. LIV PGA. Here's Donald Trump talking about it.
An obstacle holding up this PGA Tour LIV Golf.
Well, they have to get together. You know, they've had a lot of discussion back and forth. They both are meaning well, and a deal will ultimately happen. I think it'll happen pretty quickly. It'll be nice to see the golfers, the best golfers, be able to play against each other.
What's your role been in this whole process?
Just to help expedite it. Tiger was here. Adam Scott was here. Jay Monahan was here the other day. Just to really help expedite it. We had Yasser here from Saudi Arabia, great guy. These are all great people, and they want to work it out. So if I can help them work it out, I don't get anything out of it. If I can help them work it out. I just think golf, it's very much of an individual sport, and you want to see the best players playing against each other, not playing in 2 different locations, right?
What's going to be more challenging, a PGA LIV deal or a Russia-Ukraine deal?
I think the PGA deal is much more complicated.
Sir, may I ask you?
All right, there you go. Yeah, look, Donald Trump has been, all right, here we go. Hold on. Donald Trump has been foreshadowing for 2 years, complaining about the PGA, welcoming business from LIV in Saudi Arabia. He's been saying a merger is inevitable. Anyone who is fighting LIV is going to lose. In which, again, unsurprisingly, Donald Trump becomes a major winner because, yes, now his business at his golf course, the things he loved the most, they will get to profit in ways that are just very clearly corrupt, given that he's the president. That's Pablo Torre. Good, Pablo. I'll say to Pablo what everybody else says. Go over there and be mad. I mean, look at little Pablo. Never made a deal in his life. Everything he's done has failed. Never been in sports. Doesn't understand jack shit about any of it. But he's got all the answers. All right. You know, people ask the president to help. He's a big golf fan. Donald Trump could legitimately put every human being with cancer on a stage, put his hands on him, cancer cure, Jesus-like back in the day, and Pablo Torre and his dumbass ilk will bitch, whine, and moan about it. That's what they do. There's nothing interesting about the Pablo Torres of the world. Now his business at his golf course. Maybe so. What's he supposed to do? Say no? I mean, because a guy wants to see sports get together. Yeah, maybe it helps him. Who knows? Now, it's amazing. I'm telling you. These little guys that nobody ever paid attention to, got in the media, and all of a sudden people are paying attention to. If Pablo Torre had to actually talk about the business of this transaction, how this was actually going to go, he couldn't. Neither could I, because we don't know. But these idiots always assume it. Corrupt. Donald Trump is a major winner. Should be. He's president. I mean, it's really an amazing trick that Trump is pulling, where he gets to bathe in nationalism while being the direct business partners to Saudi Arabia. I'm trying to track what bigotries we want and which one we don't. I'm trying to track where foreignness is supposed to feel foreign and not like one of us. And it seems the only through line is, are you giving Donald Trump money? There you go. We'll give him more. Pablo, you don't like it? Go over there. Hey, Pablo, you've made a lot of money on your grift. You've been bullshitting them forever. There is literally nothing about you that says you know anything about sports. Zero zip. But yet here you are, still doing something. I don't know what you're doing. I'm guessing you're with Le Batard and those other creeps. Simple. Yeah, what are you going to do? All right, here we go. Talk about a hypocrite. My boy Kevin Custer sent me this guy's book, or this is a good book to read. I'm not reading Jake Tapper's book. He's been an avid hater of Donald Trump. He announced he wrote a book. Jake Tapper of CNN wrote a book about President Joe Biden's cognitive decline and the ensuing cover-up, despite the fact that he ignored Biden's cognitive decline and covered it up on TV for years. I'm telling you, the balls on these people. I worry about some little article in some paper. The balls on these people. I covered it up. I did this, but I'm going to write a book claiming everybody covered it up. Awesome. So Tapper was either very stupid about Biden's state of health or he knowingly lied to the American public. B. So he could just profit off a book down the road detailing the entire ordeal. Yeah, these people should be in jail. These people should be in journalistic jail. Jake Tapper wrote a book about the cognitive decline of Joe Biden. Are you shitting me? He's doing what every writer does. See, I'll go back always to Greg Doyle. Greg Doyle a few years ago wrote a nasty article on me, and in it he put that he had an affair that he talked to me about with a woman in North Carolina. What he was doing was he knew that I knew about all his affairs, including with one of the married with 2 children and college football women announcers you see on ESPN. He didn't want me to expose it. He wanted to get ahead of it. Well, that's what Tapper's doing. Tapper's getting ahead of it while he makes some money. Here's a flashback from a while ago where Tapper literally covers up Joe Biden's cognitive decline.
How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
you have
to watch somebody on stage search for
so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter.
Yeah,
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline. I would think that somebody in the Trump family would be more sensitive to people who do not have medical licenses diagnosing politicians from afar. Plenty of people have diagnosed your father from afar, and I'm sure it offends you. Your father-in-law from afar. I'm sure it offends you. You don't have any standing to say.
I'm not diagnosing him. What I'm saying, Jake,
you just talked
is
about
that
a cognitive decline.
That Joe Biden
I have one last question for you, Laura. You can't
times on stage, and it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay,
that is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel sorry for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure.
I mean, I'm not. Do not put the next part up. Do not put the next part up, where we say where you can get Tapper's book. Please don't do that. Tapper is full of shit. Tapper is a liar. Tapper is a crook. Tapper is doing exactly what grifters do. Man, I got to tell you, between Pelosi lecturing us the other day on how much money is not going to the poor people and people aren't going to be able to eat when she's made hundreds of millions of dollars, Nancy, between that, Tapper, all these politicians just looking at us and lying to our face. The balls on these people. Man, oh man. Yeah, I don't care where his book is available. I ain't reading it. I ain't buying it. If you do, good for you. Free country. Luka Doncic, another hit piece. They won't stop. The Athletic is reporting more details about the Mavericks fallout with the Slovenian sensation, as it's written here. I like that, the Slovenian sensation. And they did not hold back. You knew there was something behind this. Now, am I going to take the Athletic at their word? Hell no, they're idiots. Make no mistake, the people who witnessed Doncic's last days in Dallas do not paint a flattering portrait of the 25-year-old's professionalism. They call him lazy. They talk about the weight issues that were such a frequent frustration within their walls. They mention the social habits that the Athletic has reported on, such as a taste for beer and hookah. which has been a point of concern for NBA types since he was 19 and a star for Real Madrid, who was entering the NBA draft. They predict his basketball demise, highlighting a health history that, as some see it, will likely lead to catastrophe in the next 5 years or so. This is why I said at the time, and I'm going to ask Ryan Hollins about this, going to play with LeBron is a godsend for this guy. Look, I don't believe much of what The Athletic says. I mean, The Athletic could write that I'm bald, and I go, yeah, I don't know. But I do believe that there were many, many concerns about Luka Doncic. I've been told that from NBA people. There were concerns about his eating, concerns about his dedication, concerns about his rehab, concerns about his drinking. Look, if you're going to go get a Serbian, a Slovenian, you're going to get a dude that's going to drink. And if you don't think you are, you're nuts. You haven't been paying attention. My first game at Indiana against Yugoslavia national team, I'll never forget. I got in the game for a minute, and everybody smelled like cigarettes and booze. And there were good players on there. I think a couple ended up in the NBA. I could be wrong. But make no mistake about that. And look, if you're Dallas, you can't put $360 million into that dude's pocket and think, oh, well, all of a sudden it's going to get better. Best thing ever happened to Doncic to alleviate what I just read, boop, going to play for LeBron. Whatever you think about LeBron, the dude spends $1 million on his body and he's kicking ass at 40. All right, here's Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd says that Luka LeBron feels like Magic Kareem back in the day. Magic, young, Kareem, old. Championships followed. Let's see. Let's hear from Colin.
And both LeBron and Luka, one of the things that's really obvious, how happy, how joyful LeBron looks. This is bad for the NBA. Today, 5 games, I would sign LeBron to a 2 to 3 year contract. You can see, it's like a kid that gets a new bike at Christmas. He is a new ice hockey game. He is so happy. He is so joyful. They tried for a year. He loved AD. But AD can't initiate offense. AD's not a quarterback. He was like the best tight end in the league, and LeBron then had to play quarterback. Now LeBron can get up the floor, conserve energy, wait until they need him for 5 and 6 minute spurts. And I'm telling you, I sat and watched that fourth quarter. I could not believe what I was watching. But there's a Magic Kareem feel to it, where Magic runs the show. But if you got to about 4 minutes left, Magic gave it to the big fella. You drop in the skyhook. Now, they're obviously much different games. Luke is a much better scorer than Magic, and Kareem doesn't run the floor like LeBron. Old Kareem doesn't. But there is a Magic Kareem feel to it where, hey, Luka, Magic going to run the show. Both great passers. Both can score. Both just tremendous self-awareness on the tile. But we're going to give it to the big fella down late, the old big fella, and he's going to clean stuff up. And, J.J. Redick talked about it, and Luka after. That was fun. That's a fun watch.
Well, thank God the little idiot Jason McIntyre jumped in there. Oh, my God, if Jason McIntyre didn't jump in there, what the hell were we going to do? Huh, wow. Jason and I have a history. But anyway, hey, look, I agree. LeBron, the whole thing looks pretty good. Did you see the other day where Luka Doncic had the unveiling? How do these guys do it? Like, how do these guys go from fat and in 2 weeks, next thing you know, boom, he's taken off his jacket and he's lost like 20 pounds. I mean, sign me up, please. Sign me up. But in reality, a healthy Doncic is pretty good, and they may have enough around him, but I got to tell you, if you're an NBA fan, and I'm going to talk to Ryan Hollins about this, if you're an NBA fan, I highly recommend in your lifetime going to watch the Denver Nuggets and Jokic. I highly recommend it. It's not going to be high-flying. It's not going to be deep threes. You're going to sit there, and as I did, you're going to sit there with your fat, out-of-shape ass and go, damn, he's one of us. Talking about Jokic. Not black, white, any of that. He's a fat ass like us, and he's dropping 30. He's dropping 19 assists the night that I was there. I'm telling you, I don't advocate. Like, I don't know that I would go watch the Lakers with Doncic. I don't know that LeBron and Doncic excite me to go watch, but I'd go watch Jokic any single day of the week. And I'm betting this with Doncic. You know, when you stand next to LeBron, and I had an opportunity to a few years ago, he's big as hell. I mean, big as hell. And I bet you the same thing with Doncic. I bet you when you stand next to Doncic, I never have. I've never seen him in person. I bet you he's big as hell. I don't even have to stand next to freaking Jokic. I mean, when you look massive on an NBA court, you're massive in real life, like monstrous. Hey, couple things. Did you see this? Rest in peace, Gene Hackman, a.k.a. Coach Norman Dale. His wife, Gene was 95, his wife 64, and the family dog were all found dead in his house. Now, police are saying no foul play. We'll see. I guess, it just seems odd to me that everybody's dead in the house. At first, my wife and I thought, well, maybe this was one of those deals where, they're both in their 90s, been together a long time, that kind of thing. No. So we'll see. I hope there's nothing nefarious here. I do. Jordan Schultz and Ian Rappaport, both of them NFL scribes, Rappaport with NFL TV or NFL.com or whatever the hell that is, and Jordan Schultz with Fox got into a hassle at a Starbucks right here in Indy at the Combine, and somehow that's news. Wait a second. Dudes getting in a hassle. Dudes getting in an argument. Dudes getting in each other's faces now a national story? Like, what is wrong with us? Dudes getting in others' face used to be a Tuesday for me. I'm going to go to the Combine today and tomorrow. I guarantee you one of these douchebag media dudes from Indy or one of these douchebag national media dudes that I've talked about makes an attempt to come over. What usually happens with me, now I got a big scar in the back of my head from being blindsided by a beer bottle 1,000 years ago. So my head's always on a swivel. So I know who's coming over, who's going away, who's where. I always do. Always sit with my back to the wall. True story. All you got to do is get sliced up one time and oof. Anyway, having said that, they always kind of start. And then they realize, you know what? Talking about Doncic or Jokic, I'm a little bit bigger in person. Never really amounts to anything. So we'll see. But why is it all of a sudden? Because two dudes argue at a Starbucks, that becomes national news. Maybe I am for toxic masculinity. I don't know. I'm for just not being douchebags. If you're going to argue, great. Doesn't need to be in anybody's freaking newspaper. There you go. All right. When we come back, I got a lot more to get to, including Michael Jordan, who I kicked his ass, Ryan Hollins, Jonathan Hutton, when we come back.